Okay. Bitcoin privacy for the masses, what I think is the way to get there. Some people might disagree, but this is what my opinion is on the Bitcoin privacy topic. So I'm going to talk about the topic of coinjoins, and you can see more at coinjoins.org. This is a website that I launched 2 months ago with the co-founder Thibaut Maréchal. And basically on coinjoins.org, we talk about everything I'm going to talk in this presentation, the basics of coinjoins, all the many wallets, the history of coinjoins. You can see more information there, but I'll be giving a brief introduction on the topic. So, quick story first. Well, for those that are familiar with the coinjoin and the Bitcoin privacy scene, you know it can get very, very toxic. So, the main teams right now are Samurai and Wasabi, and here we have like just some comments, you know, made by the Samurai and the Wasabi team. You know, the Samurai calling the Wasabi founder a traitor, someone that should get executed, or they say that the Wasabi wallet leads people to jail, and it goes both ways, right? What I don't really like this type of discussions. I don't really like that Bitcoin privacy and coinjoins have gotten to this stage where it's just extremely toxic, and it's hard to get a fact-based approaches and opinions. So that's why I decided to build coinjoins.org. However, I am a contributor to Wasabi Wallet, mostly on the writing and the marketing, so that is to take into account as well. But this is an open source project, and everyone can give comments and feedback. More on to that later. So first of all, what is Bitcoin privacy? Why is Bitcoin privacy needed? So everybody knows here probably that Bitcoin is open. Bitcoin is an open book, and the goal is for anyone to be able to verify everything about Bitcoin. You can verify that all the transactions are being signed properly, nobody's spending coins that are not associated to them. So, and that's great, but at the same time, well, to understand what this exactly is, you have to understand what the UTXO model is, or the coin model. So Bitcoin doesn't work like a bank account. It works more like cash in your wallet. Let's say you have 1 Bitcoin and you want to spend 0.7 Bitcoin. Well, you don't just get 0.7 out. You get 1 out on the input side, and you pay 0.7, and you get a change back to your own wallet in a different address. So it's important to understand this if you want to understand how coinjoins work. It's a very different model from the banking traditional system, Ethereum, other blockchains. Bitcoin follows the UTXO model. So because it is open, it's also easy. It's easy to verify, which is the good side, but it's bad for privacy, which is the bad side, right? So tracking Bitcoin transactions is actually pretty easy. There's many heuristics, assumptions that are being made that you can make from looking at the transaction structure. And a few examples are, is it a payment? Well, if a transaction has 2 outputs, like in this case, well, you can assume that it's a payment, and you can almost always assume that the first output is the payment and the second output is the change. Sometimes there's even more precise ways to go about this. You can look at the moment a transaction happened, and you can see the amount of the first UTXO, and if it's around $100, $200, $1,000, and that exchange rate value of that moment, well, you can understand better the user behavior here. So we believe that the info is not on the blockchain, but some information can be calculated and your user behavior can be determined, and your privacy can be broken pretty easily. So that's about what a payment is, but you can also find a self-transfer. If there's only 1 output, if it's only 1 input and 1 output, most likely it's a self-transfer and you just move into a different address. So an observer, someone that is analyzing the blockchain and trying to get information from it, he can deduce that that's a self-transfer. And finally, well, there's many other heuristics. One is the common input ownership heuristic, where many people assume that if all the inputs are from the same user, because that's mostly the case. So anyways, those are a few heuristics that people use, that companies use to survey on Bitcoin. And in the end, surveillance is easy and cheap on Bitcoin. And there's a whole industry, multi-billion industry dedicated to this. There's also some public tools anybody can use as a Bitcoin explorer. So anybody can analyze the Bitcoin data, the Bitcoin blockchain. It is what it is, right? It's not bad or good. It can be applied for bad, it can be applied for good. but it just is what it is. So Bitcoin is easily verified by anyone, and many people say, but I don't have anything to hide. Like I don't need privacy. Well, do you really have nothing to hide? You know, it's not just about hiding from the government. It can be about just keeping your privacy from your employer. Let's say you're getting paid. You want your employer to be able to track all the payments you're making, or everything you're purchasing. Not necessarily do you want, or your future spouse knowing you bought her wedding ring before you pop the big question, you know. It can be small things like that, personal, business stuff. In the end, privacy is just a choice not to share certain information, and we should all have that choice in the end. So, yes, that's not how Bitcoin works, but there's something that can be done so that you can reclaim your privacy today on Bitcoin without changing Bitcoin, and that's what are coinjoins. So what is exactly a coinjoin? A coinjoin is a transaction where many users participate together in one single collaborative transaction. Okay, so like I said very early, there's inputs and outputs in a Bitcoin, in a transaction, and we can, most of the time we assume that the inputs are owned by the same person, but actually it's possible to create collaborative Bitcoin transactions. So transactions where the inputs come from different users. And this doesn't mean that you're losing custody of your coins. You can use a self-custodial wallet with your wallet backup, and you can communicate with other users through a coordination protocol, and that can allow you to be part of a collaborative transaction to reclaim your privacy, which is a coinjoin in the end, right? And how does that, so the first step is for many users to come together in one transaction on the input side, okay? But then the second part is that a coinjoin transaction has many standard outputs of the same amount, which makes it very hard to track them back to their initial inputs. So basically what I'm saying here is that we all come together on the input side, we all put our coins on the input side, and on the output side, we all come out with outputs of the same value. Everyone gets 0.1 Bitcoin. There's 100 outputs of 0.1 Bitcoin or 10 outputs of 0.1 Bitcoin, and they all go to new addresses. And they all go back to their owners. This is not a custodial protocol. You're always in custody of your own coins. But someone that is tracking the blockchain, they cannot make the difference between the outputs because they all have the same value and they're all going to fresh addresses. So there's no data being revealed there. Then it becomes a probabilistic approach. Is it this one? Is it the other one? If there's 10, it becomes 1 out of 10. If there's 100, it's one out of 100. This gives you plausible deniability. I'm not saying this gives you perfect privacy, but at least it breaks the deterministic link that was built within your transactions. And to my knowledge, coinjoins is the best way to do this. So there's many bad things that are being said about coinjoins, not just about Wasabi Wallet or Samurai in particular, but about coinjoins in general as a protocol. So in this website, coinjoins.org, the first thing we do is we debunk the top 10 FUD points, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that come with coinjoins. And I'm going to go through the first 5. If you want to see the other ones, you can check the website. You can come talk to me at the end or whenever else in the conference. So first of all, coinjoins are pointless. Bitcoin is already anonymous. Well, if you've listened so far to my talk, I've kind of debunked that already. The second part is coinjoins are illegal. So, like I said, coinjoins are just regular Bitcoin transactions. You are in your own custody of your own coins, and you're communicating with other users to create a transaction. So it's indistinguishable legally from a regular Bitcoin transaction because all the same rules apply to it. You just follow the protocol rules. So in order to ban coinjoins, you would have to ban Bitcoin from a user's perspective, right? Then there are service providers that provide coinjoin coordination. That's how Wasabi and Samurai work. Then can a regulator apply some laws to the coordinator, to Wasabi Wallet Inc., while the company developing Wasabi Wallet or Samurai and running their coordination service? Sure, but from a user perspective, Bitcoin has to be banned for you to be making something illegal when using a CoinJoin wallet. And the third point to debunk is CoinJoins will make it impossible to use exchanges. There's been stories like BlockFi or even Binance. Some exchanges have, some people have said that their coins have gotten refused because of using Wasabi. This has happened in very, very few instances. Some exchanges have that internal policy, but they find themselves in the minority, and the vast majority accept coins that come from CoinJoin wallets, such as Wasabi or Samurai. Because, like I said, sure, you cannot, it breaks the deterministic link that was between the inputs and the outputs, but someone knows, let's say you got coins from a CoinJoin, and then you send them to an exchange. Well, that exchange knows it went through a CoinJoin. It doesn't know where it came from before, but it knows it went in there, right? Because they can at least see from then. So they could technically refuse you from depositing your coins into their exchange if they apply that policy. But there's no legal framework in anywhere in the world which would make this a reality. So if an exchange does this, it's an internal policy, and there's like maybe one or two that do this, and the vast majority don't. So coinjoins are only used by criminals. Well, this is a common statement made about Bitcoin too. Bitcoin is only used by criminals, the Tor network, privacy in general. This has been debunked so many times. You can even look at government papers from the Treasury Department that debunk the claim that Bitcoin and coinjoins are used mostly for illegal transactions or criminals. And the fifth one is coinjoins will get your funds stolen. Well, this has actually never happened, but it's important to make the difference between what a coinjoin is and a custodial mixer is, okay? So in the early days of Bitcoin, custodial mixers became a thing first, and they're basically just websites you send your coins to, they're in custody of, they mix it internally, and then they send it back to you. That custodial mixer can 100% steal your coins. They're 100% illegal. They're money laundering operations. They get arrested all the time. Very different from coinjoins, where non-custodial protocols where you're always in control of your coins. It's just open source software that you're running on your device. So very different, and it's important to distinguish coinjoins from custodial mixers that do get your funds stolen. So anyways, if you want to see the remaining 5 FUD points, you can look on the homepage of coinjoins.org. But I also wanted to share the second part of this website, which is my favorite part, where we go through each wallet and we first of all create a framework of how we evaluate CoinJoin wallets, because this is a common topic, right? What are the benefits of Wasabi Wallet, for example, and what are the trade-offs? Same thing for Samurai and for Join Market and for Sparrow. So, and the debate usually happens around the trade-offs of each. Each has trade-offs. They all have a good side. They all have a bad side. For example, Join Market is very censorship resistant. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace where people can go and provide liquidity for coinjoins, and other people come and take the liquidity. So like a maker-taker market, and makers get paid by takers for their liquidity to be part of a coinjoin transaction. This makes the protocol very censorship resistant, peer-to-peer. As a user, if someone doesn't want to deal with you, you can just find someone else. However, it's extremely hard to use, very technical, and also has a few weaknesses in the communication protocol, so that when you're communicating with your peers, you're disclosing some information accidentally, more than what is publicly known. On the other side, you have Wasabi Wallet that is extremely well designed cryptographically, so that there's absolutely no information being shared between you and all the other users that are part of the CoinJoin transaction, but it's led by a centralized coordinator, and that centralized coordinator can censor you. If the centralized coordinator sees that coin that is coming into a CoinJoin, that wants to be a part of a CoinJoin, is coming from a very risky address, because everyone knows the UTXO history, right? So the coordinator knows what is publicly available. They can decide to refuse you, and this has been the main criticism point on Wasabi Wallet. It's not censorship resistant. If you're part of a very risky policy, this is usually associated to North Korean hackers or Iran or Russia. If the software detects that your coins are coming from that source, it will block it just to comply with OFAC rules and stuff, right? Because we have to remember that many of you might know that the Tornado Cash founder, basically something similar to CoinJoins but on Ethereum, he was arrested last year for developing open source software So the people that are developing this, they're taking a little bit of risk, and they have different policies. So anyways, on the website you can see all the different Bitcoin wallets, such as Wasabi, Samurai, Sparrow, Join Market, and the second version of Wasabi Wallet. Very soon we'll have all the information on BTC Pay, Trezor, and Jam, which is like Join Market, a new version of Join Market. This was done with the feedback of team members from every wallet. It wasn't done in full collaboration with them, but we did get some feedback. And this is an open source project, so anybody's welcome to contribute and give their opinion. We're also going to add on the wallet front something called Joinster. So many of you probably heard of Nostr. Well, it's possible to put CoinJoin and Nostr together by decentralizing the coordinator service so that it runs on Nostr. So that's also going to appear very soon. For now, I wouldn't recommend any but Wasabi, Samurai, and Sparrow to new users, because Join Market, like I said, is extremely hard. And the other ones require either complex installations, or for Trezor, you need a Trezor hardware wallet. But if you use the three ones above, they each have their benefits and trade-offs. My favorite one is Wasabi, but like I said, some people have a deep problem with the trade-off around censorship. And Samurai and Sparrow don't have that policy disclosed publicly, but they do have some weaknesses on the communication protocol, so they leak some information that without meaning it to, it's just a flawed design in some ways. But anyways, I still think these products are great. I recommend everyone to use them. The three ones, particularly Wasabi and Samurai, are very easy to use. Samurai is only found in Android, and Wasabi is a desktop wallet. But yeah, very, very easy to use. And so there's also one final part to this website, which is called the history of CoinJoins. So if you want to look at it, some people like to look at things in a story mode. You know, they would like to see how it went through time, where it began, what steps happened, what led to what. So on the history of CoinJoins, you can see when CoinJoins were invented, which was back in 2011, and what has happened ever since, and what are the different generations of CoinJoin wallets and protocols that have led us to the present. So also another, just a final point, many people think this is very, very niche, and in some ways it is, but in some other ways, it is one of the most used protocols in Bitcoin. So for example, Wasabi Wallet has a volume of 100,000 Bitcoins per month, which is about $3.5 billion every month. And Join Market has even more, and Samurai has a fraction of that, probably like 20% of that, but which is still a very large pool. So what I'm saying is that privacy requires liquidity. Privacy requires partnerships. It just requires many people to be part of a pool, and much liquidity to be part of a pool. And this is often a problem with privacy altcoins. They don't have the liquidity that is actually found in Wasabi and in other CoinJoin protocols, which elevates to tens of thousands of Bitcoin a month, even hundreds of thousands in some moments. So if you have any questions, well, maybe we have a few minutes for that. But also you can just send us an email at coinjoins@protonmail.com. This is an open source project. You can contribute. You can open an issue, open a pull request. This is the link for the GitHub. And you can always reach out to me if you have any questions on the topic, any feedback, if you want to just discuss about it. I'm very open to being part of discussions like this. So thank you for listening, and I'll take a couple questions if there is. Yes. Sure, okay. So Nostr, for those that don't know, it's a way to run, it's nodes and other stuff relayed. So there's relays of servers that have all the information, and you, as a customer, you have a client application, and you connect to either one of the servers in the network, and you get the data from either one of the servers. So if one server censors you, you can just switch to another. And the first application built on Nostr is like a Twitter-like user interface where you have a decentralized social media, but Joinster is a way to put the coordination service on Nostr servers. So instead of it like in Wasabi's case, it is the Wasabi company that is connecting to every wallet and making sure the coordination happens. On Joinster, it's distributed across all the Nostr servers. So if one gets shut down or one censors you, it can just pass to the other. But it's this. Yeah, you can use it today. The problem is it has very low liquidity. Nothing compared to the protocols that I've introduced so far, but there is potential, and it's still just better software. So it's not 100% safe to use, but it's getting there. Well, thank you, everyone. This was great to talk to you. Come talk to me later if you want.